Oh yeah, I'm doing the opening, aren't I?
Yeah, usually that's what we do.
This is my section of the this is my specialty area. So welcome back to Love the Team. I'm Matt, and today I'm taking you through the project my personal opinions on the Atlanta Braves outlook this coming season, if it ever happens. So we talked about the not the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks last time, and how they're kind of like they're good, but they're not really getting anywhere. Like they don't have like that standout. This team is stacked with standout top to bottom, easily one of the big contenders of this upcoming season, and is in probably the most one of the most interesting divisions in baseball, the NL East. The NL East is going to be a foot race between the Nats, Mets, and Braves, and even the Phillies. Phillies, I think, are still on the outside looking in, but Braves are leading the charge. I think the Mets, and the Nats are going to be within 1 to 2 games of each other when the season ends. So, starting off with the lineup is mostly the same from last season. No real big acquisitions for them. Their starting lineup is going to be very reminiscent of last year, which is a good thing for them. They had an awesome, like, MVP level season from Ronald Acuna, and he's back. He's going to be back this season. I think he'll do more of the same, really. He's got excellent power, excellent speed, excellent batting eye. You know, can steal bases, can slug, can do everything that a player needs to do, and he can field pretty well too. So I think you got a really standout player hitting leadoff, and there's not much more you could possibly want out of a player like Ronald Acuna. Little bit of problem with Hustle in the postseason last year. He thought he had a couple home runs, but they ended up being really long doubles because he wasn't or really long singles because he wasn't hustling. But he's young. He's still. Let me see. He is. Yeah, he's shit. Hello, 20. He's gonna be 22 years old this season. He's got. Yeah, he's young. He's powerful. He's gonna be just a really awesome player to watch. To round out there, I said that actually I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. I said they didn't have any big purchases this offseason. They got Marcell Ozuna, the best, like one of the better outfielders on the market this year. It's really him and Nick Castellanos and Corey Dickerson were like the three main outfielders. Actually, I'm doing a disservice to Yasiel Puig. Puig still hasn't signed, obviously, and there's no baseball, so he's not signing for ages. But they did pick up Marcell Ozuna, who's going to be another really solid bat for them. He didn't have that great of a season last year, but he's still a good outfielder. Great power, just great bat. And so they've enhanced their lineup by adding Ozuna. Backing up Acuna, you got Ozzy Alves. Not a big power guy, but can slap a few base hits, can move Acuna up, and also has you know good speed, good contact ability. Another nice addition to your lineup. Another real big star in this team is Freddie Freeman. He's been this like a star in that team since before Acuna. Excellent all-around hitter, pure hitter. He can hit for a decent average. He can slug. He can walk and not strike out a whole lot. Well, not a whole lot compared to in like these games terms. And you got other good players you know players who like Travis d'Arnaud. He was like he went from being dropped by the Mets to being a star for Tampa Bay last year, and is now with Atlanta. Yeah, they have a good catcher at him, and Johan Camargo and Dansby Swanson, and Ciarte, they're all solid players. So there's not like in any Dansby Swan. Okay, I will say Dansby Swanson's probably the weakest member of the team because unlike he just doesn't slug for a whole lot, doesn't hit the ball that like he's not that good of a hitter. But besides that little hole at shortstop, he's still good defensively, and there's no reason to say he's never going to be able to hit. But just as it stands right now, I'd say he's the weak spot. But overall, solid, really really good lineup. Threatening top four, and the guys on the bottom half aren't schmucks. So, moving to the second most important spot, we're going to talk about the starters. The most important starter you need to know is Mike Soroka, who is the first person I sent you, Jeremy, actually.
Hmm?
The pitcher I sent you.
No.
Yeah, so Mike Soroka came into this team last year and tore it up. Like he played in 2018 a little bit, but 2019 just absolute monster season. 2.68 ERA in his first full season at age 21, 29 games, 174 innings, 142 Ks. Like he was he was the ace of this team last year at age 21. Like it's that's the other thing about Atlanta. They're a young team and they're excellent. Like they are going to be they're going to be at the top of the league for a while with
Will they
like young
have the money
talent
to
like
keep
this.
the team together? That's the question.
Well, they already have Acuna for the next 8 years. I don't see, and Atlanta is like the best, consistently at the most prosperous team in the East. Albeit their postseason history, lots of tears. They won like was it like 13 or 15 straight NL East titles and only won one World Series. And lost two to the Yankees. That's why John Smoltz shits on the Yankees every time he talks about them. But anyway, um, their starting rotation, it's not as good. This is where it's going to be really interesting because their starting rotation isn't. I don't think it's as good as the Nationals or the Mets, but it is still a solid rotation. And I feel like they can, depending on the rotate, how other people in the rotation perform, it could be a very good rotation. And Max Fried is an excellent pitcher, and I think he'll have another good season. Last season he had ups and downs, but I think overall, you know, show not as good as he was in previous showings in the majors, but solid season. Will be another solid starting pitcher
They
for
seem to
them.
be showing some signs of age with Felix Hernandez and Cole Hamels. Those are names I haven't heard in years.
Yes, so that's the interesting part. So we Mike Foltynewicz and Sean Newcomb. Sean Newcomb, had struggles last year going to the minors, but came back really strong. And Mike Foltynewicz, uh, he struggled last year, but another case of you know what he can do when he's on. Everyone saw his 2018 rate at 2.85 ERA, 200 strikeouts, excellent season. So, hopefully he can get back to that because 2019 was more of his previous years of below ERA, inefficient pitching. So, we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. Actually, I don't think Sean Newcomb. I don't even remember. I'm sorry. That's I should have checked. But anyway, so they got another. They're 3 and 4 are fairly solid depending on. I think Sean Newcomb's is a pretty solid pitcher. I'm not sure about. I think Fulton Evans is going to be an interesting question for them. See how he turns out because I mean he even saw the postseason. He did really awesome in his first couple games, and then he gave up 10 runs in the first inning to the Cardinals. So you see those problems. Now the most interesting part of the Atlanta Braves is their two guys competing for the fifth slot, and actually, honestly, the fourth and fifth slot: Felix Hernandez and Cole Hamels. Now, Cole Hamels did get injured in spring training. He's probably fine now, but because it's been so damn long. But Felix Hernandez, what used to be one of the most dominant pitchers for so many years. The problem with Felix Hernandez is he just threw so many innings.
Seattle wasted
This
his
guy,
golden years.
yeah, like he threw over 200 innings. Let's see, 6 years in a row, and he had over 2,000 innings for you know a team that never made the playoffs, a team that sucked, a team that still sucks, and so he's hit that wall of he's trying to do it, but he's just his arm isn't what it was, and 2018 was horrible, 5.5 ERA, ended up in the bullpen for a while, and then in 2019 he started off okay, and now it's back to not so much. And then it went back not so much. He finished with a 6.4 ERA. Only pitched 71 innings because he got injured. Actually, got sick and then got injured. And so it'd be really interesting to see. And it was a low risk pickup for Atlanta to say, let's bring Felix Hernandez in because if he gets any sort of shape of what he did in previous years, he'll be one of the best pitchers in the league, or he'll be at least a good pitcher and a good above average pitcher. And so it's a very low risk, high reward for Felix Hernandez to be in that team. And then the next is Cole Hamels. Cole Hamels has been an excellent pitcher for many, many years since 2006. He pitched 2018 with the Cubs. He came in and pitched very, very dominantly. 2019 he had another good season. Not he had an injury problem and then had a cold streak for a while, but still overall excellent pitcher. I think he makes the starting rotation over Hernandez or over Boltonevich or Newcomb, depending on how they perform with whenever spring training 2 happens. So they have a solid rotation, but the big names to look out for are Boltonevich, Hernandez, Hamels, like to see which one of them ends up in the rotation, which one of them leaves camp with the. And actually, honestly, I think it's mostly Hernandez and Boltonevich see where they leave camp, right? They leave camp because I think Hamels and Newcomb are shoo-ins, in my opinion. Now here's where the NL East race is going to get decided. We're in the new age of baseball where bullpens are the most important, or one of the most important. Nah, every part's one of the most important because you've got like 3 main parts to a game. But bullpens have become much more dominant and much more important than they have been previously. They pitch a lot more innings. They have a lot more people in them. Like it's very uh, it's where the NL East race is going to be decided for me personally. And I think the Braves have a big advantage over the Nats, and they're kind of. It's going to be interesting to see which one performs better between them and the Mets. I think they're in the middle. I think the Mets have a slightly better to just better a bullpen, but we'll talk about that later. Um, Top end, you have Mark Melancon, Shane Green, and Will Smith. I think it's a sin that the Roto Champ says Will Smith will not be the closer. There is no reason why Will Smith will not be the closer. Mark Melancon had a bunch of really, really terrible years on the. Actually, I'm not gonna say really, really terrible. Had a really terrible year, 2 years on the Giants. Blew a lot of saves. Despite having like an average ERA, just blew a lot of saves. Wasn't very good for them. Gets traded to Atlanta and is having had a very good season last year during the time he was with them. And I think he could be a very solid, setup to part-time closer. I think he's a solid bullpen arm. And that's the thing, like, when you want in a bullpen is just consistency. And so, you know, bullpen arms will go through, every bullpen arm is going to go through, waves of really good outings and really bad outings. But the most, because it's just such a volatile role. So having someone solid who can generally perform well is going to be very important. Next up is Shane Green, came over from the Tigers. Another pitcher that's, I think Rotochamp's doing him. After the season he had last year, I don't think there's any reason why he's going to have a 4.03 ERA. And, if he has any sort of form in what he had last season still going, he's going to be a threat
Oh,
to set
Neil,
up
I'm
for.
so sorry. We had a little misclick from me. Continue. I'm sorry.
Um, where was I? Oh yeah, Will Smith. Will Smith is was the best reliever on the market, and Atlanta swept him up almost immediately. And what a big deal that is for a team that needs, solid, needs that elite closer, needs that elite bullpen arm. Playing for the Giants, he has always been excellent. He pitched to a 2.76 ERA last year, 96 strikeouts in 65 innings. That's only 12 innings more than he pitched last year, and he had 25 more strikeouts. Like his breaking balls are just so like batters just flail at them. And also 12 more innings pitching did in 2018, and only 6 more walks. Like the guy has just been dominant the last 2 years. He had 2.55 the year before that, 3.35, 2.84. Like just so many good seasons in a row. Like this is like such a good bullpen arm. I think he's going to be their closer. Just excellent for Atlanta to get that guy. I think he'll be a great fit on this team. because that was one of the problems last year is they got a lot of relievers and struggled to find that one closer that could really shut down a team. And they got some other interesting people in there. They got Darren O'Day. I love Darren O'Day. I love anyone who throws sidearm slash submarine. And
Terrible for
you
your
know he
elbow. Terrible for your
well
elbow.
well he's thrown 12
And
seasons of baseball.
shoulder and,
Yeah.
I'm just putting it out there, man.
And you know when Darren O'Day has been at his best, you know, four straight seasons at I think it was Baltimore, 2.28, 2.18, 1.7, 1.5, like just excellent years. Did get injured last year and after only throwing 5 innings, but yeah, if he can come back strong, he'll perform to I think around a 3.5, 3.6 ERA. There's no he's just been so good for so long. I think that he'll continue to be a solid bullpen arm. Um, they got some interesting ones thrown in there, like Luke Jackson. He got thrown into a kind of closer role, blew a lot of saves, but you know he was kind of in an interesting spot and threw a lot of innings and threw mostly good innings. So you got a lot of interesting names in here that I think will be ones to look out for. I think the most interesting ones are going to be looking at Josh Tomlin, Luke Jackson, and Darren O'Day, see how they perform and see what kind of roles they end up getting. As for Melanson and Green and Smith, they're going to be uh, they're going to be the big three to look out for in that bullpen. So anyway, then just to wrap up, if you could go over to the Nationals bullpen for me. Um, so the difference between their bullpen and the Nationals bullpen is the Nationals have Daniel Hudson and Sean Doolittle, and they do have Will Harris, and yeah, those three are good, but I don't think any one of them is as dominant, and I don't think they're as dominant as the big three that Atlanta have. By the way, I think every bullpen is defined by a big three, like your two setup guys and your closer. And
Okay.
I think Doolittle has been really good for a lot of years, and I think Hudson had a really good season last year and an excellent postseason. And Will Harris has been good, but I think the rest of the names, Wander Suero, Tanner Rainey, uh, that list of pitchers is going to change so much over the season because while the Nats bullpen was a dumpster fire last year, and the reason why their bullpen did so well in the postseason this time around is because uh, they had Patrick Corbin pitching at half the time. So that's my take on that. And then the Mets, I think, have the advantage because they got big names: Edwin Diaz, Seth Lugo, Dylan Betances, Jairus Familia, who I think will just be better than the Braves can put out. But I think it's still going to be close between the two of them. And so overall, just to get final gradings, lineup A, that is a scary lineup to go up against. Like, no pitcher is going to look at Ronald Acuna, Freddie Freeman, Ozzie Albies, Marcelo Ozuna, and say, "Oh yeah, this will be an easy 40 to get through." Uh, project for the starters, I got to give it a B because Mike Soroka. Actually, I'm not even a B plus. Mike Soroka and Max Fried are going to be Fried are going to be excellent, and Cole Hamels if he is healthy will be another excellent pitcher. But the question of the last two, I think, is going to be what leaves Atlanta wondering. Is going to be like a big question for them. And bullpen, this is where I'm getting kind of like I'm not exactly sure how to grade it because part of me wants to say they have a B or a B plus bullpen. Part of me wants to say they have an A bullpen. I'm leaning, but just think like I'm trying to think about how Atlanta stacks up to other bullpens in the league, like how they compare it to a Yankees bullpen, a Rays bullpen, a Dodgers bullpen, an Astros bullpen. I'm just trying to think, do they hit that level? And I think the answer is no, but they still have a very solid bullpen, so I think they do get the B plus or B. I give them a B for the bullpen, and so that that's my overall rank. I say overall, as a team, if you want to factor in bench players like Nick Markakis, Austin Riley. I don't know why Austin Riley's not projected. He's anyway, and I don't think Austin Riley will end up being full time bench. I think he might actually get a full time role because he's got a lot of potential. I think, and so I think overall as a team, I'm going to give them an A minus because they're just solid everywhere. And their weaknesses still aren't so weak that they're going to drag down the team. I think and I think I can't even tell you where they're going to place because they're going. I think they're definitely playoff bound. The question of if it's as a division winner or if they're going to the wild card, that is all out. And like that is there is no possible way you can call it because and especially when you consider I mentioned the NL East is an exciting league to look at. NL Central is going to be an exciting race too. So you're going to have a lot of really good teams all battling it out. So even if this team picks up only 80 something wins, and this team is better than an 80 something win team, but they're going up against a bunch of other teams who could easily win a lot of games. So overall, A minus for the Braves. Excellent team, a lot to be excited about here, and that's my shtick.
That's your shtick.
That's my shtick.
So recap: you've got an A for the lineup, a B
Yep,
for the bullpen, and a B plus for the rotation.
yep.
So you're
And
gonna
then just to recap about the rotation. Rotation, the most important men in your rotation are the first three because those are your that is in the postseason. You only really need three men for your rotation, and so it's most heavily on the big three. I think the big three are good. I am giving them a little bit of bonus points to the fact they made really smart moves in the offseason to have lots of tools available to fit in those other two, those 4 and 5 guys. If they just let somebody who's never been that good, like if they had like I don't even know, if they just had someone kind of whatever pitching in the fourth and fifth
Sonny
spots.
Gray.
Sonny Gray was dominant last year. Sonny Gray was dominant. I love Sonny Gray again.
So for some
Watching
context as to why I find that hilarious, for approximately a year and a half to 2 years, my name on Steam was Sonny Gray is trash.
and
Um,
yeah, and every time Sonny Gray would start, just I knew I was about to get a slew of hate messages from Jeremy, just like losing his mind.
Anytime Sonny Gray pitched in Yankee Stadium, it did not matter if you put up 57 runs, he was gonna manage to lose the game. That's what it
You know
felt
what's
like.
amazing about that too is it's literally just he could not pitch in New York. His average, like his road average with the Yankees is a 3.3. Like he was excellent with the Yankees. It actually really interesting. I was listening to R2C2, the C Spathia's podcast, and he knew he had excellent spin rate, but the Yankees had no advanced metrics before this coming year. Ray Rothschild didn't know. Like they didn't trash Ray Rothschild, but they basically said he knew a lot about pitching, but the reason why he was doing so bad is he didn't know how to use fucking advanced metrics. And he went to Cincinnati. He was an excellent uh, pitching coach who's like in on all this advanced metric stuff. Told him you got to stop trying to throw high fastballs. Focus on keeping the ball down in the zone. Don't rely on you don't try to do this what everyone else is doing with the high fastballs. Focus on this is your ball moves this way, so focus on throwing it here. And he transformed himself over the course of a season from like a 5 ERA to a 2.8, I think it was.
Well,
But
regardless, in my mind, Sonny Gray will always be trash because he, under the bright lights of New York, he crumbled. So there's that.
this is true.
But anyways, you were saying something about having a mediocre picture, and then I said Sonny Gray, and we got off topic. What were you saying? Oh, you
Oh
were
yeah,
done.
so I think the top three are very good pitchers, but I don't think that they're like a Jacob DeGrom, Noah Syndergaard combination. And I don't think they're like a Garrett Cole. I can't even say Luis Severino because he's not going to be pitching. But I don't think they're like a Garrett Cole type. I don't think they have a Garrett Cole type pitcher on their team.
You were
But
trying to
but
find the second pitcher for the Yankees, and then you're like, shit.
no, I'm just trying to think of like, do I really want to compare James? It's like you want like they're not like a Garrett Cole, James Paxton, Masahiro Tanaka type deal. And I'm not. And then again, I'm like, I don't want to like make it like his James Paxton is absolutely disgusting to like when he's on. And apparently, they finally figured out his back problems that he's been having for the last 2 years. And so hopefully that means that we get the really super dominant James Paxton. And I think he can be that. This is getting way too in depth. And I love James Paxton. James Paxton was my favorite pitcher to watch last year, just because I love anyone who can throw that hard, and I love it's just a lot of fun for me. But what was I saying? So they don't have like a Garrett Cole or Jacob DeGrom type pitcher on that team, though they do have very good pitchers, and I think Mike Soroka can turn himself into a pitcher like them. But once again, he's got one full season and a part his September call up from 2018 as his only track record so far. So yeah.
It was I would like to apologize. It was a little hectic on the technical side for me because I realized I never pulled up the report card that we made, and then I found an outdated version of it. So I was like
I don't think
editing
we ever
it on the
pulled up
side.
the. Did we even do? I don't remember what this. Shit, I don't remember if we had this for the first one.
We didn't. Well, we made it after that.
Oh, this is true.
But then I didn't have an updated one, so I was editing that on the side. So that was atrocious. And then I was having stuff, pop up on my screen, and then I was dragging the screen off, and they just got to see my lovely background for a few minutes. That was great. That was fantastic. Quality content. No technical
Lame
difficulties
background.
at all. What?
What?
What did you say?
Hmm?
No.
The lame background?
What?
I didn't say that.
Lame. But this shit changes, bro. You want to challenge me on background? Come on, now.
Yeah, changes to other pictures in CS:GO skins.
Hey,
Wow.
back it down. We can go back to what it used to be, which was a bunch of pictures of LeBron, but I don't think you want that.
Yeah, that'd be topical at least.
Is that a challenge? I'll
That's
change it right now.
It's going to be the least surprising background for
I'll
you.
change it right now. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Why is it not loading? There we go. Oh, dude, they're gonna get to see. There you go. There you go.
Watching.
There you go.
Oh, hey, oh, that's better. I like that.
You approve
That's
that?
great.
It's approved?
I do. That's approved.
There you go. Unbelievable. You're unbelievable. Okay.
I want to say I love watching RTC2, the CC Sabathia podcast. I like listening to it every once in a while, and I love it since it's been at home. That CC Sabathia just he's sitting on his fucking couch, first of all, recording this, and he's sitting with a fucking giant fish tank behind him, like massive.
Yo,
Like,
low-key, fish tanks are big-ass flexes, bro.
no, they are. I was just thinking about it like right now. Like, wait a second,
That
Like,
is one of the
that's a
biggest
serious
flexes
flex.
you can have. A fat fish tank. Those things are expensive to maintain.
Yeah, they're doing their podcast with AJ Burnett. Love
AJ Burnett. Wow, that's a flashback.
what a name from the past, right?
He went.
Yeah,
He had one season for the Yankees, and we won the World Series, and then he became incredibly
he had, like,
inconsistent. Went to the Pirates, disappeared, and I haven't heard of him since.
he had 3 seasons for the Yankees. Well, you know what's interesting?
No. He had one season that he lit it up for the Yankees, and then it was two mediocre seasons. No? Am I wrong?
Let me take a look. Baseball reference. I think he has more than. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, AJ Burnett's whole career has been, either really dominant or really inconsistent.
I
love
just
AJ
remember
Burnett.
watching
I love
him throw
AJ
the
Burnett. I
first
love watching
pitch.
him pitch.
I remember him throwing the first pitch or a warm-up pitch or something, and they showed it on TV, and he nailed somebody in the back.
Yeah, his control has always been terrible.
I remember if
He
it
had a
was
really
the
good
first
Yankees.
pitch
He
that
had a
hit the
404
net,
and then
or
like a 5. Yeah, his second 2 seasons. So 2009 a 404, but also struck out 195 people, but then at a 526 and a 515. And that was the thing about him. He went to Pittsburgh and he totally rediscovered his ability to did a bunch of mechanics reworking and had a couple dominant years for them. And then went to the Phillies randomly, and then went back to the Pirates, and went to the All-Star game and had a really solid final season. Actually, OW was an All-Stars in 2015 in this final season. But I want to talk just to because we're way off topic now. My favorite thing about AJ Burnett is not his World Series, his no hitter. He threw a no hitter in 2001.
How?
Um,
How? No, there's no way.
I'm trying to find. Hold on,
No way.
AJ
What? He actually did?
no hitter box score. I want you to listen to this box score, okay? You know how many walks he had in his no hitter?
I don't know how many.
9 walks. The
What?
man had 9 fucking walks.
Did he walk in 3? Oh no, he was pitching for the Marlins. Okay. I thought for a second that it said he walked in 3 runs, and I was very confused. I mean, listen, man. Technically, it counts. Technically. There's no way.
When you the MLB official page, worst no-nos in history. It's on there.
I mean, yeah, you throw a no-no, but you walk 9 players. It tends to do that. And yes, I know they're called batters. Fuck off. All right. Anyways,
All right, and
we
then
should
it has
probably wrap
people
this up.
claiming the.
We've
Yes,
dragged
get
this
that
on
to
10 minutes after you were done.
All right. Let's wrap it up.
Okay, go. Come on now.
I gave my scores. I don't know what else to say. Shit.
Come on now. You're a YouTuber now. You got to know this. How are we ending the video?
Okay. All right. We're ending this video. Go take a look at our Twitter page, Instagram. Drop a follow.
Drop a follow.
Comment.
What are they called? What are they called?
On Twitter.
Okay. Go ahead.
And drop put a comment, drop a like, subscribe. If you liked it. If you didn't like it, just subscribe. Hate subscribe. Leave hate comments on everything.
We had that little current happen with my Cardinals draft, which I'll be getting into for the Falcons. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for us. Check out our Discord, like he said.
Yeah, check out the Discord. Discord's pretty lit.
Pretty lit with all of like 5 people in it, but it's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, exactly 5, including us 2. But yeah, check out the Discord. Hit the subscribe button. Like, comment. Anything else to add?
No, not really.
We'll see you tomorrow. Do we know what we have going on tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
I believe tomorrow's Baltimore. I believe. I think we go out to
Baltimore.
I think we do NL East and then we go to AL East.
Yeah, you go to the AL East tomorrow. We stay at the AL East Thursday with the Blue Jays, and then Friday is the Cardinals.
Alrighty. So we'll see you tomorrow.